All right, well, Casey here with CL Creative, where I'm teaching you web design and Webflow one video at a time. And today we're going to talk about Lightboxes, and specifically we're going to talk about image Lightboxes. And so why we should put images inside of Lightboxes, how to do that, what are some of the advantages of it, and how we might be able to use that in our projects. So let's jump into the computer and check things out. All right, well, here we are on the computer, and this is one thing that I wanted to show you. Is this is one of the sites that I had built from one of my clients and the real estate agent, and they needed to build out a listing page. And on their listing page, they wanted to be able to showcase a number of different images, but of course, they can't showcase all of the images in the size that you would really want to see them if you're interested in purchasing that particular house. You want to be able to see the image much larger, and so this is where the Lightbox comes in. You can click on one of these images, and you can see it large. And then you can see the other thumbnail images. You can see them much larger. And this is exactly how people are going to really want to see the real estate listings. And if you notice that there are a lot of images here on this particular page, and there's not as many showing here. If you were to keep kind of expanding this, you're going to see those images are going to just keep coming into view. But what the Lightbox allows you to do is put a number of images on the page in a thumbnail format, which is going to allow the page to load much faster because it's just having to load the size of that thumbnail. And then whenever you click on the image, it's going to load the image in a larger format. So one of the things that you have to do, and you'll see here in just a second when we pop over to my site and I'll show you how to do this, is you have to account for the image getting larger inside of the Lightbox. So this will render, the thumbnail on the page will render just fine, right? This is going to render just fine. But you can't put an image on the page that is this small and expect for it to look good when the Lightbox pops up, because we need an image that's at least this size. So you need to keep that in mind whenever you're, designing or putting images on your site and you're utilizing a Lightbox. All right, so how do we create a Lightbox? So let's pop over to my site. I'm going to show you here, just say I have these images right here. This is just a section on my page, but I want to make it so that people can actually see these much larger. So what I'm going to do is just duplicate that section so it makes it easier for us to work with, and I'll delete these images out. So the first thing that we need to do is put a Lightbox on the page, which we're going to click plus, go to the add panel, down here to Lightbox, and drop that on the page. Now, Lightbox is made up of two separate components. You have the Lightbox link as well as you have the image. The image is what's going to show on the page. The Lightbox link is what's going to be the Lightbox, the part that pops up, and we're going to be able to put media inside of that Lightbox as well. And we do that over here through the settings panel. So here we're clicked on the Lightbox link, and we have media as well as we have match or create a group name. And I'll show you what the importance and usefulness of that here is in just a second. But first, let me go ahead and add in some media. You click that, you can add in an image or you can add in a video. In our case, we are going to add in an image in this particular episode here. So I'm going to add in the same one that I have below. Now you notice that nothing showed up on the page. Now that doesn't mean that the media is not there. It is indeed there. So if we click preview, it's just inside of the Lightbox. Now you see here that, and maybe this comes through on YouTube, I'm not sure, but you can see that this image is a little bit pixelated and blurry, and that's because the Lightbox is trying to blow this image up to a large size. But when I initially loaded this image on the page, I loaded it as this size down here, and that's really all I needed, because this is what I was designing for. So you need to make sure that you're putting an image large enough that's going to show up, look well inside of the Lightbox. Okay, now how do we get the media here so that it's actually showing up on the page so that it would look something like this right here? We have to click on the image. Now you notice another dialog opened up over here. We have these image settings, and so here we can go and we can choose this image, and indeed here is that particular image on the page. Now that could get to be a little bit tedious. You have to add this twice. So let me show you an easy way to do that. This is just Command E. This opens up the search dialog, and I can just simply type in Lightbox and drop it in. So it's going to drop it into the parent right here of this particular element. So what we can do, instead of being clicked on the Lightbox link, is we can actually click on the image, and then I can come over here to this plus media, click in replace, Now I can add in another image, and you notice that it showed up on the screen. And that's because what's happening is two steps are just taking place immediately. It's adding it to this media, and then it's also adding it right here to this image setting for us, just to make it much easier for us to be able to get these images on the page. Now at this point you might think, great, we've got two light boxes on the page. We're going to have that nice Lightbox experience, and then you click on it and you're like, no, where's the other image? Why is it not showing up here like it was back in my example? Well, that's because we have to make sure that we link these two things together. And the way that we tell Webflow which Lightboxes we want to link together is simply by creating a name right here where it says match or create a group name. And so I'm just going to call this about. And we need to make sure that we add that to all of the light boxes on the page that we want to link together. Now this is powerful because it means that the light box doesn't have to be in the same section. It doesn't have to be sitting right next to the other light box in order for you to link it. It could be anywhere else on the same page, and it will link together, and it will show up in this light box view right here like we see here. So now we have both of them. Whoops. Now we have both of them here that we can toggle between, and we can put as many images here in a row just like we have here as we want, and those images will begin showing up inside of our Lightbox as long as we remember to make sure we put match or create a group name. Now another thing that I want to show you is that you do not have to add both a piece of media here and a piece of media here in order for it to show up in the Lightbox. You do if you want to have something here on the page, but what we can simply do is click on the Lightbox link, because you remember earlier when I was clicked on the Lightbox link, it only added the media to the Lightbox and not to the image that's showing up on the page as well. That's an important distinction. So here we have the Lightbox link. We're going to click plus. We notice that the image is not over here. We're going to click plus. We have another image that showed up, and you notice that we can actually reorder these images as well, so you can put them in whatever order you want. So now I can just grab another image. Now you notice that that image did not actually show up on the page, but if I click on the Lightbox, there's 3 of them down here. And that's because we were able to add that to that particular Lightbox without adding it to the page. Now, one of the things you have to be careful about, and remember earlier I showed you this hack where you could be clicked on the actual image and then click media and add. So if I do that here, I click replace and I grab a separate image, you notice that that image is actually going to get added to this box. And it's also going to get added down here as well. And so that creates a little bit of an issue for us, right? And in this case, it looks like maybe there's like a little bit of a bug here, and it actually did not get added inside of our Lightbox. It for some reason duplicated that for us. So we can go ahead and delete that, and then we can just do Command Z and go back. So here, what we want to do is go back to the Lightbox, click on replace. Now we can add this in, and it's just going to show up here, and it's not showing up on our screen. But if we click inside of our Lightbox, we're going to get all of those images that we have added. So that's kind of a neat way. You could put something here on the screen. Maybe you put like a little icon, and then you can pop up and you can see a number of different images. This is what I've actually done on my photography site, and this site needs a little bit of work. But you notice that I have just one image here, and I have this message: click image to view more family images. And if you click that, you're going to see a number of different images here. And all I've done is, in order to do that, is I have just utilized that media section inside of that Lightbox in order to add all of these different family images to my page. And it keeps this page nice and clean. It allows this page to load really fast. You can barely even see any sort of load that's taking place because all it's loading is this text and this particular image. But I've got a ton of images here. Now, in my case, what I need to do is I need to change this up because people don't know that there are all of these images here unless they read this little dialog box right here. And they may not even think to click on this particular image to see the other images that are behind that. But that is what a Lightbox allows you to do. So hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully you found some value out of this video. If you did, would you give me a thumbs up? If you want more content like this video. I'm putting out content on a weekly basis on web design and Webflow. I'm going to be throwing in some SEO type content as well coming up here in the future. So hope to see you on the next video.